Hi guys, thanks for joining me. This is not the video that I planned as my first video for my channel, which is all about well-being. However, what I have to say is directly related to well-being, my well-being, your well-being, and everyone's well-being. I will explain all that in other videos, but most important purpose of the video today is for me to pass on this message of awareness. So those of you that are not aware of this case, which is about Sushant Singh Rajput, it's about this Bollywood actor that passed away over 3 months ago, 14th of June. It was quickly labeled after he died that it was a case of suicide by the local police. However, since then, many evidences have come out in public to pretty much confirm that this was a clear-cut murder. And there has been millions around the world, like myself, that have been watching news on his death, what's been going on, evidences that are coming out almost on a daily basis. The challenge or the frustrations has been cover-ups after cover-ups after cover-ups by the local police, the local government. However, we all around the world protested and protested, millions of us, and it stopped the case from being shut down and labeled as murder. And it was pushed up to Supreme Court level to then get the agency, the FBI equivalent, which is CBI in the country, to get in there and start investigating. So this is due to social media, the public, global, people around the world, global power that made us reach this far. And that is why I am calling out to everyone around the world for this awareness to keep going. So before I explain further, firstly, I am asking all the Indians, every single Indian, to stand behind this case, to push for justice in this case, because it affects you. It really affects you. We want justice, not just for Sushant, but all those that have been murdered that are linked to this case. Not just murdered, brutally raped and brutally murdered. There has been a girl recently, that little girl that was raped and murdered with her tongue cut off. It is separate from this case, but people need to stand up for cases like that. It has to go to Prime Minister level or whoever it is, that you cannot get away with crimes like that. You just cannot. Getting back to Sushant's case, the most important thing is also, on top of them getting justice for the murder, more and more crimes are starting to come out that happens inside the Bollywood industry. We have drugs investigation that's been done by the NCB, looking at the drugs and narcotics, and more Bollywood stars are getting exposed, investigated. There's been other crimes that are being spoken of, but not officially investigated, which is child trafficking, etc. This is something that's really close, that really affects me, crimes against children. We cannot let this continue to happen. So I am also reaching out to those people that are not Indians, like myself. My ancestors were Indians, but I was born and bred overseas, who have been watching Bollywood movies since we were babies. There's many of us around the world, not born in India or not Indians, but we watch Bollywood movies. This is my message. Please do some research, find out what's going on. I'm going to list some channels that I follow that I find trustworthy, because there has been a lot of misinformation, a lot of fake stories, etc., that have been created by paid media or whoever to divert the case. Okay, so you have to be very careful of who you believe or who you trust, credible sources of information. So do look into that. So please don't watch these movies until the industry has been cleaned up, until you know 100% there's no links to mafia or any organized crimes attached to the movie that you're watching. This is really important. This is how we can help stop or influence or stop enabling. So we didn't know. I didn't know that all these things was happening in, I've been watching Bollywood forever and I did not know, but now I know. I am not watching it. I'm not watching it. So this is an awareness for non-Indians or anyone watching Bollywood movies. Please stop, research, and let's stop enabling these crimes to happen indirectly. Okay, so that's to the audience of the Bollywood, whoever's watching Bollywood. My other reason is for everybody. Doesn't matter if you're Indian, doesn't matter if you're watching Bollywood movies or not. This is crimes against humanity. This is crimes against little innocent children. It is our duty to protect children. It could happen to you tomorrow. It could be your child that is becoming a drug addict. It could be your child that gets kidnapped. It can be your child that gets trafficked, organs taken out, trafficked, murdered. It could happen to any one of us, no matter which part of the world that you're living in. And that is why I'm creating this video. Please, we all need to wake up and we all need to do something. It's one thing not knowing about these things or knowing that Bollywood has these crimes happening, but it's another thing to know about it and not do anything. Okay, so I'm going to talk about things that we can do. Okay, so as I said before, the reason this case has gone this far in terms of not being shut down months ago and labeled as suicide is because social media. Okay, so let's use the power of social media that has gotten the case this far to continue to ask for justice for this case. We want the truth to come out, all the truth in this case, which is who murdered Sushant, who murdered Disha, who murdered all these other people around Sushant and Disha. We want not only the people that actually did the killing, we want the powers in the government, the powers in the police, powers in the mafia, the powers in the Bollywood, higher up, whoever was part of this murders, rapes. We want all of them to be exposed. We want all of them investigated, and we want them punished by law, the strictest appropriate punishment. And we want not just that, we want these crimes that are happening in Bollywood, in the industry, prostitution, like I said, all these horrible crimes against children. We have to stand up and we have to fight, demand, push Prime Minister, whoever can make a difference on this, to put a stop to this. Get it investigated to put a stop to this. This has been going on for a very long time, and it's time. It's time all these stops, and we can do this. Any of us sitting around the world, whether you're from Africa, South America, Pacific Islands, wherever you're from, we can cause this change to happen. And that is why this is called a revolution for SSR, because it is more than about one person. It is more than about a city. It's more than about a country. It is global. And I'm saying, just like we did for George Floyd, we protested, and we protest this globally. We need to do the same thing and continue to do the same thing in this case. And tomorrow, if anywhere in the world there has been a brutal rape or brutal murder and the justice is not being done, the police is not doing their job, or the government's not doing their job, we all of us around the world need to do the same thing, which is to protest online. Okay, so this is where we have to be smart about it. We've got COVID at the moment. We don't want to be going on the streets. We don't want to cause riots. Violence is not the way. We can do this peacefully, and we have done this peacefully so far with this particular case. Number two, COVID. We're not gonna go down out in the streets and protest and spread we had this happen here in Australia in Melbourne, where we had a massive outbreak of COVID because of a protest. Okay, so we can do this safely at home, sitting on the computer. We can spread the awareness like I'm doing. That's the purpose of my video, is to spread awareness to as many people. We can do that. Share it on Facebook, share it in Twitter, share it YouTube, whatever you want to, you can do. Hashtags. There is specific hashtags that's been attached to this case. The latest one is Revolution for SSR. There are Warriors for SSR. There is Justice for SSR, Justice for Disha. There's a list of tags, hashtags. This is what's been working, guys. This is what's been working to put the pressure on the government, on the agency to do their job right. There has been so many delays, day after day, day after day. This case that should have been resolved in 1 week's time, anywhere else in the world or anywhere, even within India, this could have been resolved in a week or so. But it's 3 months over and counting. We don't even have, as far as I know, an official confirmation that it was murder. We've been pushing, we've been asking, we've been all around the world who've seen these evidences that are put forward in the public. We know it's murder. If you don't want to believe public, there's been doctors and criminologists from around the world that looked at these evidences and they're saying clear-cut murder. People qualified to say this have been saying it around the world. Okay, so there's no question. There's no question. What we want is to get together around the world, protest online safely, not on the streets violently, safely online, like we have been doing, but we have to raise even high. This is the most critical stage right now. This is the most important part, guys. This is where we need acknowledgement of murder, and we need to get the investigation done right. We need the truth to come out, not a couple of people that have actually done the killings. We want the people that ordered the killing from the highest of places to be exposed and put behind bars, appropriately punished by law. We want these murders have happened before by the same people. It's got to end now. It's got to stop now. And we have the power. We have the power, all of us sitting around the world. It doesn't matter what religion, what qualification, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got internet, if you've got social media, we can make a difference. So let's join together and make a difference. Let's stand together. We have YouTubers that have been fighting for the truth in this case. One of them has been arrested. And we've got murderers that are roaming around freely. Whereas you've got people that are voicing their truth and standing up for the injustice. They're getting arrested, or they're getting their buildings demolished. Like one of the actresses who are standing up against and exposing the truth, got her home in Mumbai demolished. Okay, so this is the kind of injustice that's been happening in this city, and the world is watching. The world is watching. So I would say to the agencies too, the world is watching. Please do your job right. We are behind you. We're supporting you. I'm also calling out to the spiritual leaders of the country. There are powerful, very wise spiritual leaders in the country that I feel need to get involved, talk to the highest level of government, get involved to get behind this case, to get justice and truth out. Not just this case, the crimes of, especially against the children. Something needs to be done, and these leaders have to get together and clean up this city, clean up this Bollywood industry. Okay, we are seeing one after the other how polluted it is. That needs to be cleaned up, cleaning up the country. The case of a little girl murdered, the tongue cut off, nothing to do with this case. That needs to stop. These rapes needs to stop. And then outside, anywhere else we see in the world that's having these horrific crimes that are not given justice, we need to stand up. Once Sushant may have been killed, but there's millions around the world like myself that have been awakened. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your support.